The most valued, I be feeling like $1 million in the bank account. The most valued, never die cause I'm going for the big amount. The most valued, I just turn the robbers cause I really hold it down.
Welcome to the Most Valued podcast. Today, team, we have a wonderful guest, Matty Floyd, Pinky. We've got a plethora of names that you go by, I think, don't you? Welcome to the Most Valued podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome, mate.
Today, we've got Johnny Boy.
Yeah.
Do you ever get called Johnny Boy?
Yeah, I actually
Or
do.
You never do? Okay. I
I
don't
don't know
think
why they
I've
call
ever
me
called
Johnny
you that
Boy.
before.
Let's call me John.
Johnny Boy, John.
Nah, I don't mind, honestly.
And myself, Becky, who are joining you all today. So we're going to be going into a little bit of depth, getting to know this legend who's got a fight coming up on the 26th of August in Queensland that he's headlining.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be big. We're going to be cheering him on. So we get to have a little bit of insights into who he is, what's led you to the point of where you are now, and some inspiration for, I don't know, kids, for other people who are, interested in fighting, and other legendary people who are trying to do legendary things as well. So welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
So to start off with, I've asked you this before, and this is a really tough question to ask, but for those of you who haven't who've not followed the journey along with, Matt Floyd and who you are, do you want to give us a little bit of insight into, you don't have to go, we've got a lot of questions for you today because you've got a lot of depth and a lot of background, but what is it that you're doing now that you're working towards? And I suppose, what is it that you're working on?
That's a big question.
It is a really
Working
big
on a lot of
question.
things.
So who's Matt? That's an even bigger question.
Yeah.
So you've got Pinky's Gym, you're a professional fighter, you have come from an interesting background where you were a vigilante. You had some interesting things happened when you were younger that kind of led you down the path of a little bit destruction-y, as a little bit of a brief introduction. But now you're kind of trying to turn that around and trying to do better. Do you know what I realised? I probably know too much about you now. Where
You're telling the viewers everything.
Yeah. So you've got Pinky's Gym. What do you do at Pinky's Gym?
I still believe in the vigilante stuff, and if I could, I'd probably still be going on with it, but you can't. So
But it's illegal and you're not allowed to. Yeah, but all these rules that we have to follow.
yeah, I'm fighting on the 26th of August for Australasian title. I guess the vigilante stuff and my upbringing held me back a lot. But yeah, I guess I'm here now. Everything happens for a reason. So the gym, I've had a few gyms, and this one I mainly built. I guess it's like a community gym. We don't really advertise or anything. It runs itself mainly so I can do what I do with the youth. I try and mainly target, I guess, men like myself that needed someone like that I needed when I was a teenager and all that sort of stuff. So I sort of know what I needed, and I try and help with that as much as I can.
So giving them like a place to go and a place to train, and you're quite active in the community as well of having that space that's available for people to come as like a safe space and to change the trajectory of their life like you kind of have, which is what I love about you and what you're doing as well.
I just wanted to say, where did you get the Jedi from in your name?
I
watch a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah, I like Star Wars. I like I'm a nerd at heart. Definitely. I like all Marvel style, everything, like all that sort of stuff, gaming. If I wasn't fighting, I'd be gaming full time, I reckon.
Yeah.
What
do you play on?
I
console?
own a game shop, and
Oh, really?
yeah, I started with Pokemon cards. That was my first business, and then second was games.
Yeah.
And then I've still gone on with the games now. So, Star Wars, the Jedi name, I had to come up with a name on the spot, and I do things on the spot all the time. And in that moment, we come up with the Jedi. So I think because I was in an ice bath around that time, and people were asking me like, how do you do these ice baths like without acting like it bothers you like for 20 minutes, half or whatever. And I go, oh, it's just a Jedi thing, like mind tricks,
It's just a Jedi thing.
Jedi thing. Yeah. So then when we're coming up with names, that just came into my head and it wasn't taken. So
Yeah, because I saw on your Instagram like you in the ice bath at like 10:30 at night, man. I'm like, wow.
yeah, I'll do it
That's
like
a lot of resilience, man, to do that, you know.
I was probably fighting like around that time, so I was doing the ice baths around that time. But I do them in the morning as well, and just whenever after training or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as easy as I guess I make it out. I mean, the first minute's pretty hard, but I know in my head that once you get past that minute, everything's fine, everything goes normal. So
Yeah.
in my head, that's what I think about. So yeah.
Yeah, because I'll be doing like a bit of cold showers as well. Apparently, cold therapy is good for you, you know.
Yeah, it is,
increases your dopamine and all that, you know. So the
And
first
you
minute
feel
is
good.
tough.
You
You,
just
feel
feel
better
good
after,
after it,
yeah.
And it's like, if I can do this one thing, then I can do anything, you know, like
Exactly.
I'm capable of anything. And you've have like previously with other fights, you've walked out as the Jedi before, and you've that's been like the whole theme, and you've got tattoos and things, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I get tattoos like on the spot as well. Like I don't really care too much like about like people probably worry about tattoos and things like that. If I get an idea in my head, I'll go on with it. So I've got a big Jedi Star Wars tattoo on my back, and the last few fights I come out and when you're the main event you get a bit more of a theme. So I've been walking out with like a robe and a bunch of Star Wars characters like Chewbacca and Darth Vader and all that, and
Makes it
with
interesting,
the
man,
Star Wars
honestly, you know?
music, and it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. All the fire and everything, that looks pretty sick.
Yeah.
And you were talking about before how your first business was Pokemon, and I've heard you speak about this before. You were saying a business, and for people, my ears kind of prick up when I say that when you say that Pokemon's a business. So talk us through that. What happened?
Well, it still
with
is
that?
now. There's a lot more money in Pokemon cards now than there was when I did it. I was 10 when Pokemon cards first came out, and yeah, I was buying and selling Pokemon cards. You know, when I was
Like,
10.
what were you doing at 10? I certainly wasn't getting my shit together.
I was in Beyblade, you know Beyblade? Yeah, I was like messing with Beyblade.
Beyblade
Yeah,
was
Beyblade
like
was pretty
around
good.
as well, but Pokemon cards was first.
Yeah.
There was actually other ones before me. Like you had NBA cards, and you had Magic, and then Pokemon cards was my time. But then I ended up, whenever I do something, I go right on with it, with anything I do. And then so I went from doing it myself, like trying to make a little bit of a side hustle, to having my own shop at the markets and all that sort of stuff. And then I built from
I've always
that.
been business oriented,
Yeah.
man.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I was cornered, like I had no choice. I felt like I took it all on my own shoulders because of the way I was growing up, like with no money and always in different homes. And I felt like it was my responsibility to make money.
Yeah.
Because that's how, unfortunately, it wasn't my mum's fault, but that was my belief as a kid because for what happened and that stuff. So yeah. But it made me who I am. So
So you're talking about, you know, it made you who you are and your upbringing and things like that. So for people who don't have the insight into your upbringing, I suppose you don't have to go into depth whatsoever at all. But for people to kind of get a little bit of an understanding of what the trajectory of your life was and how pretty amazing it is that you're where you are now. Do you want to talk us through some of the experiences that you don't have to go into depth, but what made it challenging to be able to have like a normal upbringing?
Well, I never had Sibley. I never had a home. I mean, I had homes, but it's different home, never one home. So I'd go backwards and forwards from living with like, you know, my mum's boyfriend or my mum or foster families or friends' families, Nana, my sister who was a lot older, and just wherever. So I was all over the place. But really I just wanted to live with my mum and and she was always like sick. And we never had money. So that's why I thought I had to make money so I could live like a happy life with her, I guess.
That's a lot to wear on your shoulders as a 10-year-old. But you obviously, you were made for Pokemon, selling Pokemon cards.
The Pokemon cards needed me.
Do you want to go?
Oh, sure. I did hear like on the Resource podcast that you guys did together that you live a life which includes like paying it forward system. Can you please explain more about that? When you mean by paying it forward?
I actually watched that movie with my mum at the movies when I was a kid. Pay it forward. The boy he believed in this system where he helped these 3 people who had to help 3 other people who helped 3 other people.
Yeah.
And in the end of the movie, he helped like 1 million people.
Yeah.
So I sort of believe in that, where if I help these people, and I always try and teach them the same stuff.
Yeah.
For example, if I do stuff in the community, like say there's plenty of stuff I'll do, and I won't talk about it like a good man doesn't talk about what a good man does. Like I might go have lunch with a, you know, say a homeless person that I know that I hang out with at the front of wherever. And I'll spend time with this and that. But say if I've got people around with me, I might do it a bit differently just so they see. So I'm leading by example. So they see more about how I might guide them. It's hard to explain, but I feel like if I show them and then help them or whatever, they will hopefully do the
Help other
same.
people as well, yeah.
Hopefully, if I help, you know, say 100 people or 10 people or whatever, they will, and then that's what I try.
Yeah.
And because it's the only way we can change it, because nothing's going to happen otherwise. It's like the vigilante stuff. I thought if I, you know, slowly was getting one pedophile, 5, 10, whatever at a time, or bad people, I thought other people would start following. The world, like people would follow and stand up and do the same, because that's my belief that we're only going to stop it if everyone stands up, because I don't believe in the system. So I still believe that. I just can't do it anymore because...
Yeah, it's a bit of a risk to doing that, isn't it?
Coppers don't like it when good men are doing good shit. So.
I know.
Yeah,
man.
and it's so interesting. I think after having done the podcast originally, and then, you know, the amount of time that's passed in between and getting to know you or seeing what you're doing and the things that are happening, I definitely came into, when I had you on my podcast, with, you know, obviously violence is not the answer. You can't do this, you can't do that, and everything has to be peaceful. And then I think in between having you on the podcast and to now, just seeing so much more on the news, in the media, you know, social media and things like that, where exactly like you're saying, people who are trying to do good get punished sometimes more than the people who are doing really shitty things. And it's really confusing and disheartening sometimes. So how do you maintain, like, not getting so pissed off with everything, or that you continue and you still try to do good?
I've got, at the start, I'd get very frustrated and upset years and years ago. And as I'd see and been through more myself, I become more accepting. Like last year, what I went through, I was a lot more accepting than what I was when I went to jail for bashing the pedophile and things like that. You become more and more accepting because we haven't really got a choice. So you just become more accepting of it. It's like plenty of people back in the old days got crucified, you know, for talking about God or whatever their beliefs were, and they would get locked up for their whole lives or whatever, and they just had to accept it and things like that. So you definitely become, I definitely know I've become more accepting of it. The more you hear and this and that, you get less and less pissed off, I guess. Yeah. But and then there'll be days where you get a bit upset about it again. But it's just how it is, I guess.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with the media at the moment? Like, are you? Because
I don't speak to them. They hate me because they well, I don't even know if they hate me or not. I think they just talk shit about me. So I mean, the last thing they put up, they got threatened that they were going to get sued because they pretty much put up a load of shit about me, which they had to take it down. Like if you look up my name now, it's all been taken down. Okay. So it was just a bunch of shit. It was pretty funny actually, but
what they wrote.
Yeah, it was annoying for me because my story is I'm an ex-crim who's turned their life around, who's done a lot in the community, and I've become a positive role model on people, and mainly I'm a role model on teenagers that are in between like 50-50, they're going to go crim or they're going to come good, and I try and make them come good, right?
Yep.
So that's my biggest thing, my story really. So they try to tarnish that because I committed my last offence 2015, which was when I kidnapped that pedophile.
Yeah.
And I haven't committed an offence since. I know that I haven't. And so that was 9 years ago or something, 8-9 years ago. Yeah. So what they did last year was a bit bullshit because, you know, if I copped that in 2015 when I was who I was back then it wouldn't be such a big deal because I was this big bad fucking apparently person in the community, whatever. So it wasn't. But now because I am who I am today, it's like it's tarnishing, like it's really defaming and this and that.
Reputation, yeah.
I mean, I've had a lot of good people that come to the gym and things like that who know it's not true, or like, fuck man, it's shit that they did that because it's made it hard for, you know, blah, blah. They know it's not because they know me, but it's just, it is what it is. So, but yeah, it was pretty shit. Like this time, like it was real, like, you could even see in the camera and shit, like I was trying to hide my face and everything. Like I was real embarrassed because it was fucked. Like I knew I was getting stitched up, but what can you do, eh?
Yeah.
And so what point is that at now? So you're fighting in Queensland, which is awesome. Yeah. Have you got anything else coming, or does it kind of stop you from being able to fight in Perth?
No, Perth is a different story. Perth's just that's a fight between me and the Boxing Commission. They've stopped me from fighting for years and years and years because they've got I don't know what's going on there. They just got like an issue
It's
themselves.
a bit of BS though.
Yeah,
right?
it's annoying and it's frustrating.
What?
And I that's why it's been really interesting to be around you and see your resilience, because you've still got to just keep on fighting like all of the time. There's things that keep on going.
Yeah, people don't realise how hard it is for me to fight. Like I've got to fight. They actually have no idea. Like to get a fight like this one in Queensland or the last one, all the steps I have to go through to actually get there, like, and to do that, and then all the pressure of what if this happens or that happens or this or that. Like there's so many things I have to tick, so many boxes I have to tick to make sure it goes all right. They don't realise how many years and court cases and money I've had to spend just to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
And so what's your advice, I suppose, for, a young crew who, talking about what you were speaking about before, who have a sliding door moment where they kind of can see, or maybe they can't see because they're in it, whether, they're being kind of taken down the path of destruction or, being led and being guided by people who don't have their best intentions at heart and then going the other way. What's your kind of advice? What do you speak about when you see the guys, and what is it that is like your main mission or message?
I'm a no bullshit like kind of guy, so I'm very tough about it. Tough love. It's like I'll say straight up, like there's nothing you have been through or seen, or your parents or your fathers have seen or been through, or whatever jail they've been, whatever it's that I haven't seen worse or been through myself. So I teach that there's no, like they don't realise like they can still do anything they want to do 100% at that age. And even if they're like early adult, like even early 20s or whatever, they still can. And my thing is it doesn't matter about any of that stuff, what you've seen, like this, trust me, like I just do the whole, I go on a few different speeches about the whole one life stuff and how lucky they are actually to be alive and born and things like that, and where it could go and how shit that side of things is. Because I feel like I was, being who I was, it's hard to talk about. But yeah, I talk to them in depth about it, about how shit it really is and how
you can go.
Yeah, where it can go and how good it can be. And I'm like a no nonsense sort of, like, like if you, whatever goal, like I'm move forward, reach your goal, don't worry about your part, this, that, like this is it, and
Yeah. Knowing your story, I know that you have faced a lot of mental and psychological challenges.
Yeah.
What tips do you use yourself, or what's your let's say getaway?
Mine is probably a bad answer to give to people, but it's just ignore it, and I distract myself constantly forever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just ignore it and distract yourself.
So that's my tool. I feel like there's some demons that can't be faced. I know a lot of these like people, like these like life coaches and all the stuff you hear today is about you got to face
Life coach.
your inner health and your childhood trauma and all that. And I get some of that, but I believe that there's some demons that can't be faced, some thoughts can't be faced, and they need to be kept away and ignored, and just keep my biggest tool is distraction and keep moving forward and towards my goals. And that's what I teach the kids too. Don't worry about any of that negative stuff. Forward. I'll help you reach your goals. Just to concentrate on your goals, because that's all that matters. And that's what helped me. So that's all I can really teach, because that's what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was saying to John before as well, like when we were organising the podcast, you train every day and you spar quite consistently. And I think that's like, having had a few athletes on the podcast and a few boxers and stuff as well, that's quite unique that you are so consistent with that. Do you think, why do you do that? What has made you, and it's obviously hard as well to organise somebody else to spar with. Do you think that's a part of your success as well? Do you think, like, I suppose, what's the question that I'm asking? Tell us about
vigorous training?
Yeah, your vigorous training is like nobody else.
I just am like that. Most people that spar train with me always say that I am a different level. Like, I'm just hectic the way I do things. I'm not sure. I always thought it was normal until everyone told me differently, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm pretty OCD about stuff. So
You're driven.
yeah. So when I do anything, I go right on with it. Like the Pokemon cards, I went on with it. The games, when I was doing the vigilante stuff, I went right on with it.
Yeah.
So anything I go right on with it. I've always been a fighter since I was born, I believe. So I go right on with that too, I guess. Maybe that the training comes with that. I'm not sure.
It seems like sometimes you're in like a fight or flight mode type of thing.
I'm always in.
Yeah.
I have been since forever.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was childhood trauma. I think I was born with that. But
Yeah. Maybe you should come out to the song, I'm a survivor, I'm gonna make work.
I would. So
Yeah.
I'd come out to any song. That's why I came out to Always Love You.
Okay.
Whitney Houston.
Wow. I'll always love you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a nice song.
I mean, because I said I would. When I was in prison, I told the boys that I would. So I had to do
Stick
it.
by your words,
the first
right?
fight that I come out to when I get out is that, and I did it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The bit of humour. I like that as well about what you're doing. There's always humour involved and trying not to take yourself too seriously.
That's true. Yeah. You got to enjoy it, honestly, every day of it, right?
Yeah, I never really care what others. I mean, I do care, and then I don't care. I guess
That's human. I think it's human to care what people think. Like it's like
I do and I don't. I care about shit I probably shouldn't care about, and then I don't care about the shit that normal people probably would. Like coming out to a Whitney Houston song. A lot of people would probably not do that. So, but I used to listen to Whitney in prison when I was training and all that. Like for some reason, I trained to like old school or love songs, and it gets me going. I don't know why, but
Just emotions going, all right?
I'm not sure. People fall asleep. Obviously, like they want to listen to like loud and heavy or whatever, but that shit doesn't work for me. So I need
Different type of vibe.
my music, my weird music. Well, I wouldn't even call it weird. To me, it's good music. So
And how do you kind of cope in the lead up to with fights and stuff like that? What is it that you do the most?
What's your routine?
What's your routine to get yourself sorted?
the same as always, except I train more and I eat a little bit less and a bit better. This fight's going to be different. I'm going to work on my mind a lot more. I'm going to do some more meditation, some meditation in general, and I'm going to do some counselling and some stuff because my head's not right.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a mental battle more than anything. My physical strength is fine. Like physically, I'll be ready to fight, no problem. So it's definitely my mental that I need to get right between now and the fight. Whenever I fight, it's always like, yeah, I don't care. I'm fine. I'll fight anyone. And then on the day of the fight, I struggle a bit until I get in the ring. But I don't want to have any struggle for this fight. So I'm going to work on my mental stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't have that struggle on the day, pretty much.
Yeah.
And keep it nice and smooth.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like we've gotten to know you pretty well in like a short amount of time. Is there anything that for people who don't know you or people who, you know, like you were saying that in the media people have a different view of who you are, who would you say who Matty is? Who is Matty? Like what's a part of you that people don't know?
I feel like I get told all the time, people when they meet me, like you said it as well and before, and like I think I get told all the time that people expect different of me, and then they meet me and I'm completely different. I think that's in every way. Like I'm pretty. Even I did like my last podcast. They were like, "Man, we didn't expect you to be like this fighter, bikie, Pokemon card collecting, game selling nerd." You know, like they just spun out after. You know, I get that pretty much most of the time. So.
Yeah. I think that I 100% will put my hand up that I had absolutely prejudged who I was going to be meeting. And then it's been really interesting because I think in the current climate that we're in the world, like with men, sometimes there's a facade that gets put up. And I find with having gotten to know you and have had you on the podcast, like the other podcast, is that you're quite a safe space, you know, which is really shocking to me considering the things that you've experienced in life. So I commend you on that because I think that's hard in this climate, especially when you're surrounded by the people that you might have been surrounded by, and especially when, you know, you're fighting and you're around that. So, well done.
Well, every fighter I think I've come across is pretty humble, safe sort of. They're different. Like, I think that thing on fighters and that is people got that all wrong anyway, let alone if you take the fighting away from me, like who I used to be and all that stuff, just that, people have that wrong anyway. So
Yeah. Cool. Have you got any more?
Yeah, definitely. Your goals and aspirations for the future. So we always ask people this: where do you see yourself in, let's say, a few years, 2 years from now?
I'll still be fighting, hopefully at a further level, So if I win this next fight,
When
I win this next
Well,
fight,
yeah.
I will be in the world rankings, and then
Wow.
I will keep getting bigger and better fights. So hopefully, in a couple of years' time, I'll be like,
Hopefully fighting international, man.
no, I'll be fighting international after this fight.
Oh, that'll be great, man. Yeah.
So hopefully, I
That'll
see
be big.
myself fighting for like at least the next 5 or so years. So
Yeah.
and then still doing the gym stuff and doing everything I'm doing the same, just more of it. Hopefully, if I make a bigger name from fighting and boxing, it will just make what I do easier. More people will follow, and
Exactly.
my passionate stuff will be a lot easier for me to do and spread the word and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that, man.
we were going to do as well. So what we're going to be doing in the gym is doing consent, because what I deliver is consent and boundary education. So for the guys in the gym, we're going to be doing something like that, which is different to any other. I haven't been asked in too many other fighting gyms to come in and deliver that. So that's pretty exciting as well.
Right. So you'll be doing that at his gym?
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's good.
Yeah,
That's
which
good.
is really awesome. And so with your international, have you got like somebody who that you would be really excited to fight? Somebody that you aspire to fight, or are you just stoked to be
Just
fighting?
the best of the best, really. I want to fight the best of the best.
Don't come at me unless you're the best.
It's because you're undefeated at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah.
Wow. That's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I want to keep going all the way with it. So
Yeah. Oh, man. High aspirations.
I feel
for you,
like
man,
everyone always
honestly.
says you've got nothing. You only got to prove to yourself. That's what people always say. But to me, I always feel like I've got a lot to prove to everyone else. I feel like I've got the world against me, and
Yeah.
not in a bad way, but a lot of people against me.
A lot of haters, right?
A lot of haters, jealous is pretty bad. But with everything I've been through, I've got a lot to prove.
Yeah.
People will say after I say that, you've only got to prove to yourself, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter how many times I say that. I know what I mean.
Yeah.
And, it has to be done. So
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
And you will do it. We believe in you, man.
Yeah,
believe
you've been
in
on
you.
this podcast now. It's a good omen. And so for anybody who's listening, who's like a promoter, who's a fighter or anything, what can we do to help get a fight, or what can we do if people how people reach out to you, or how can they help make that happen?
I'm not really sure.
Anything? If you're a fighter,
They can message you on
Yeah.
Instagram. They can,
Oh, message me on
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matty. Oh, promote me. Oh, Matty
Yeah.
the Jedi Floyd is my Instagram.
All right,
So they
sounds
can
good.
message me on that. My gym's Pinky's Gym. It's in O'Connor, unit 1032 to 34.
Perfect.
Hines Road, O'Connor. But message me on Instagram. I'm always around.
Yeah.
and he's got in his gym he's got a sauna. He's also got a games room. He's
Yo. Is that
so
a gym?
it's like
After working hard, you can chill, right?
yeah, it's like
We've
this.
got everything. We've got like red lights and red light therapy and saunas
Sheesh.
and ice therapy, fat freezing, cryotherapy. Yeah, games rooms. We've got mixed martial arts there, kickboxing, boxing. We've got a 24-hour gym there as well, like
What else do you need, honestly, mate? You could live
everything.
there.
So it's a proper like commercial gym, like all the commercial equipment. I built it so it would run itself, so that way I could do the stuff I do on the
Oh, yeah.
side. So,
Yeah.
And it's like a community gym. We don't advertise. It's just like
For people to come.
people to
yeah.
people and word of mouth and things like that.
Yeah.
It was always done on the side for fun. So
Yeah.
but yeah, and yeah.
And each time I've been there, I've been welcomed with open arms, which has been really nice, because sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating going into a gym, especially as a
Female.
female where it's like predominantly male. So
Yeah, no, not this gym. I think we're probably 50-50 women
Yeah.
and men. But we're not like it's not an ego gym at all. And I think we've had like one incident in 4 years or however long we've been there. And it was just two young boys sparring, and they took it a bit far, and we broke it up. So we've had literally one. We've never had an issue where with ego or people or anything in there.
Yeah.
I think that's because of the way we run it and that, and the people we've
good.
had there and that.
Yeah.
So it's not like that at all. No one's ever felt that way.
Yeah. Do you like ever interact with the parents of like the young boys, and like do they
Yeah.
ever come through as well, like
I
family
don't-
friendly environment, something?
I interact with everyone there. I like talking to people, so I actually go to another gym to get all my cardio out the way before I go there, because if I go there, I don't get to do my cardio
Yeah, 'cause you'd be
Everyone's talking to you, yeah.
Maybe chatting to you.
Talk to me and that, yeah. So I literally go to another gym now just to get my cardio and stuff out the way,
Yeah.
and then I go there, and then talk to everyone and stuff, and then I do my boxing at night time.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great. Wow.
Is there anything that you
it.
think that we've missed of like how people could get to know you?
How they could get to know me.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything. I think we've done a pretty good job.
We've done a lot. We've talked about a bit.
Yeah, we've talked about a bit. Is there
so
anything?
watch out for the new fight. I think that's what we should be like.
Yeah,
promoting
exactly.
right now. Yeah.
The 26th of August.
Is it gonna be streamed
Queensland,
or anything?
If you can make
Like-
it, it is.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah,
Streamed?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where? You know?
On everything, I think.
I think it's
Everything?
Foxtel.
Foxtel?
All of the
Yeah.
things. How about we'll put
I'll put it on my Instagram or something.
put on your Instagram and we'll link it in the podcast as well. This may very well go out after the fight.
I think
So
it'll
if
probably
that
be
is the
before.
case,
I think
Matty will
before.
have another fight coming up. So
Yeah.
watch this space, eh? Is there anything you'd like to leave us on?
No.
That's great, man. Thank you for coming on
thank
Most
you.
Valued, honestly. We appreciate this.
No, thanks
you
for
know.
having me.
Yeah. We're excited to
great.
watch the journey and be a part of the journey now.
Yeah, cool.
It's going to be great. Guys, like, subscribe, and share. And keep up with Matty, the Jedi Floyd. See you guys soon. Easy.